Now, I imagine you're asking yourself, what does this have to do with the video? The answer is absolutely nothing. But, a couple days ago, I had to put one of my dogs down here at home, and she was a very good dog. And she was basically just really old, and she had some breathing problems, and surgery would have killed her. So the only option, medication wasn't helping, the only option was to put her down at home. But she was a very good dog. And if you like the idea of creating like a little shrine for your pets, what I did was I put a little bit of this Crown of Victory oil on this little tea light candle, lit it. This is one of the chew bones that she used to chew on. And then I have some of her fur that I shaved off when she was put down in that little baggie. And now it's like a little protective spirit, and I get to remember my dog. Now on to the video. Hi everyone, so today the video title is Be Careful with Your Compassion. Now, the stance that I usually take with compassion is that give it to everything, give it freely, give much of it. But that very Vedantic idea isn't always realistic. A lot of the time, and by the way, this is a beer video, I have a beer. Not a beer video, but I will be drinking beer during this video. So, what I mean by be careful with your compassion is that, number one, you got to be very careful about who you give it to and what you're giving, what form your compassion takes. Now, when your compassion is giving money to people, then somebody who needs it, then if you give all of your money, then you won't be in a position to get more in the future that you could give. Also, you can get into relationships that are more parasitic. Somebody will try to get emotional confirmation, intellectual stimuli, and really an aid in their life, whereas they're not as concerned with providing you with the same thing. So you have to be very careful with who you give compassion to. How many people you give it to is a big part of it. If you give, let's say, 100 people your compassion, whether it be money, whether it be attention, whether it be your time, whether it be your efforts in life, it's going to be hard for you to give a significant amount to any one person, to do all the things you want to do for any one person, or 2 people, or 10 people. If you have 100 people you're giving compassion to in many different forms, then it's really going to be hard to give quality of compassion, not just give compassion, but the quality of compassion, which is very important. Now, I do have an example that I wrote down. So my parents love cats, and they love saving animals. So my parents have 4 cats and 2 dogs. Now, they were all rescued from a bad situation. But my dad just went to Corpus Christi, to visit his mother and father. And now he realized that my uncle, who's not very responsible at all, has another cat. He already got 1 cat from this bad situation he was in with my uncle. And now he has another cat. He found another stray cat, and he has it with him. Now, my parents can't take care of more than 4 cats, and used to have 3 dogs, but now it's 2. So the thing is, based on the quality that you provide to your pets, that they can provide, you have to keep it at a premium when you have pets, because they rely on you completely and utterly. You are their existence. You are their entire world. So if you have too many pets, if you save too many animals, and you don't have the means to take care of all of them, whether it be time, whether it be space, whether it be some kind of effort, then you should only get as many as you can give quality of time, your quality of time, and not just have a bunch of animals and then some of them get neglected even slightly. You don't want that to happen, so you have to be careful. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is cutoff point for compassion. Yeah, I keep on looking at the board because I can't remember my own notes, apparently. But the cutoff point for compassion. So what I mean by cutoff point is when somebody starts behaving in a way that is toxic for yourself emotionally, spiritually, physically, that's toxic to who you are, really draining you, and you don't see a way around it. You don't see a way that you can help them understand, or that they'll work themselves into a place where they can be less toxic in your life. then you have to reach that cutoff point and be willing to snip that cable between the two of you. That cable of compassion that you're giving that person, you have to be able to snip it and know when that point comes. For instance, if I used to know this one girl who had a fucking terrible boyfriend. He's awful, very toxic, but she felt like she just couldn't leave him. And she almost got addicted to the situation where like she thought, oh, this is life now. So, you know, that caused her a lot of pain. And eventually she was forced into a position where she literally had no choice. But she went through all this pain for so long, only to come to the point that she should have been at, you know, within the first month of him being a douchebag to her. So if you feel like you're going to reach that point eventually, and you're pretty sure about it, and you're not willing, and they're producing toxicity emotionally, spiritually, physically, whatever, in your life, in y'all's situation, in y'all's relationship, then know the signs and be willing to step away. Even if that person was a big part of your life until now, be able to step away, because you have to protect your own life and your own emotions, your own body, your own spirituality from people who would try to take it down. You have to protect yourself in that way. You owe it to yourself to protect yourself in that way. So here's the last nuanced point that I have, and this is very nuanced. Know why you give compassion. Most people give compassion for the wrong reasons. It's not that it lessens the act, but it does lessen, I guess, it really feeds back on the intention that you have, and you can't produce enough compassion and do compassionate acts if you're doing it either to get attention, to make yourself feel good, to basically because you're getting something from that person or that relationship. You can't produce the most quality of compassion and a vast amounts of it if it's not just for the sake of being compassionate. That state, a godly kind of state, demigods in a way, will produce a quality of life for everyone around you. But if you're doing it for selfish reasons, now, if it makes you feel good and you're doing it for that reason, that's not that selfish. It's more selfish because if you think that, okay, well, I'm just dating this one person because I want to have sex with them, and I'm not really interested in who they are. That's way worse. It's a scale. It's a spectrum. So, well, I've been asking myself this for years. Why do I do what I do? Why am I compassionate? I think I'm compassionate, but why am I compassionate? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the true motivation that I have? And not just the motivation I want to tell myself, or that the motivation that I'm trying to hide from myself. What is the nature of my compassion? And everybody has to figure that out for themselves. Everybody does. If you don't, then you're putting yourself in a place where, you know, if you believe in karma or reincarnation, where you're not really gonna, and that's another thing, if you're just doing it for karma and you believe in karma and you want to get a better birth and reincarnation, that's also a selfish reason. But do kind things for the sake of kindness. Do compassionate things for the sake of compassion. Try to put yourself in a situation where you're only doing it for the sake of the act. Not for the fruit of the action, not for what it gains you, but because it is the right thing to do. If you can put yourself in that mindset, the quality of your compassion will increase, and the quantity as well, in my opinion. These are all just my opinions. In closing, I'd like to make some announcements. Now, this is the announcement, Bob, apparently. Anyway, I will be focusing on podcasting in the near future, maybe more than YouTube. So I do apologize for that. If you see less videos, you'll still see videos, but you'll see less and less. Well, not less and less. It'll just kind of be like more days in between I put an episode out, or a video out. So I apologize for that, and I'm giving you all a warning ahead of time, because I'm making a podcast, or I made and recorded about 4 episodes, 2 of them with Amethyst Heart, Ashley, and that's on Spotify. The podcast is called Spirituality and Magic Podcast. Now, and then I'll go ahead and put it up so you can see what it looks like. And you'll see that little fire pick, and you look for that one. You won't have to scroll down very much on Spotify after you type that in, as far as like looking for podcasts. You want to scroll down very far because there's really not a podcast with that exact name. But you'll have to look for that fire pick, find it. You can follow me by just going to that, then clicking right below the spirituality and magic headline title, I guess. Click right below it. It'll take you to another page, and there will be a follow button at the top that says follow. Click that, and you will be updated whenever I put out a podcast. And the reason why I'm getting into podcasting is because there's so much more content I can put out in a podcast that can last for an hour than putting out videos, because to be honest, it's hard to upload a really long video from my phone with the app. That's kind of I do everything from my phone, so it doesn't like it when it's too long. But with podcasts, it seems to work really well. And I want to put out more content for you. I want to make a bigger impact. So I guess I'm kind of focusing on the fruit of the actions. And Ashley, Amethyst Heart, is going to be my partner on this podcast, definitely for the foreseeable future, if not for the length of it. Now, I'm also going to try to I'm going to submit my podcast for iTunes, which is where most people watch podcasts. I'm going to submit my podcast, and I'm pretty sure I'll get approved. There's no reason I wouldn't be approved. And then it'll be on iTunes. I don't know if I can, because the host that I have is Anchor, so I already have a free host. So all I need is a host, podcast, submit it, see what happens. So I hope to get to iTunes soon, and then that's when it's possible that I'll really blow up, hopefully. And then blowing up is for... I want to reach more people. I want to help more people. That's what it comes down to. Now, the second announcement is I did put up this oil. I said that this protective oil I was making. I was going to, for my 5,000th subscriber, I would basically write everybody's name down that it was interested in that giveaway, that oil giveaway, that protection oil giveaway that I was making. I'm not going to send it. I'm not going to randomly choose a name out of a hat, and I'm not going to send it because it's very much a protective oil. I feel its power, but it doesn't smell great. And I don't want to send you something that you're like, oh, what is that smell? I don't want to send that. Even if you appreciate the protection it provides, I don't really want to send that to you and you have a bad opinion about it, or you'd be like, what the hell is this? But as I make oils in the future, I will get it down, and I know what I did wrong, and so I'll be able to fulfill that promise eventually. So I apologize if I said that I was going to give it away, which I did. But look for opportunities like this in the future, because there's going to be a bunch of them. At any rate, I hope you're enjoying my YouTube channel. I hope that you subscribe to my podcast, my new podcast that I'm doing with Ashley, or Amethyst Heart, depending on how you know her. And I just want to say thank you. We're about at 5,200 subscribers now on YouTube, and it's great. I love hearing from y'all. Feel free to write down in the comment section anything you think about podcasting or my YouTube channel. And if you need any help finding it on Spotify for some reason, feel free to let me know. And yeah, just thank you for everything, and I hope to see all of you on the channel, and I hope you're listening to the podcast in the future.